On March 2012, the Spanish government allowed oil drilling on the Canary Islands.
Son mis islas. Yo he nacido aquí y somos el Hawái europeo y no estaría bueno que conocieran a Canarias por la belleza que tiene, ¿no? De sus islas y su gente, sin petróleo, claro. Si sucede lo que nadie quiere que suceda, va a ser muy difícil, no difícil, imposible que haya una restauración del ecosistema, de la fauna marina, de las playas. Es imposible, es petróleo.
Pues la posición es muy clara, la del Gobierno de Canarias. Es un no rotundo a cualquier tipo de posibilidad de hacer prospecciones en el entorno de las aguas canarias.
On the background you can see the beautiful east coast of Fuerteventura with the island of Lobos and Lanzarote, where they want to make some oil prospection.
We have one of the most important areas in the world for marine mammals, 29 different species of whales, and also it's a very important zone for fisheries. There are protected species of corals. And the European Union, they are spending many millions of euros in the last years to protect these areas.
In a case like this, where you're talking about a special area of conservation, they cannot start to drill without carrying out an assessment on the effects on the environment beforehand. And if they do that, then they would be leaving themselves open to us beginning legal proceedings against them.
So for me and my family, we've got a surf shop here on the island. All the tourists that would come here for the surfing and for the beaches, which is all we've got in the Canary Islands, would be just disappeared and destroyed, so no one would come here anymore and we couldn't enjoy anymore what we love the most.
I'm the owner of the La Vaca Azul and El Cotillo in Fuerteventura. The restaurant employs like 14 persons working here all year. And like 90% of what we're selling in this restaurant is fish, and the quality of the fish is unbelievable here in Canarias. If there is no more fish, it's no more Vaca Azul, and 14 persons losing his job.
Soria said to create 5,000 employments in the harbors for vessel with 159, so it's not possible. It's another lie of these ministers.
The right-wing government that were in power when the Prestige went down, I remember the same person who was on the television saying that there was no problem and the oil wasn't going to reach the coast, and the best thing to do is push the boat away from the coast, which was actually the worst thing to do. That guy is now the president of Spain. And if you've got a criminal who is in power and he's making laws, what he calls laws, then the law isn't valid because the law is being made by a criminal.
The main danger of this oil rigs is a huge oil spill similar to the one in the Gulf of Mexico, because the drilling will take place at 3,500 meters and there is no existing safe technology to do that.
You imagine how bad it can get, and then it does happen, and it's worse than you've imagined. The time that we were going to be surfing, instead of surfing, we were cleaning the beaches, and we did that for almost the entire winter. Nobody told us what the oil contained. Now I know it's very, very toxic. All sorts of nasty things can happen to you. It's like a heavy diesel oil. And the rocks are still all black. I mean, they will be probably for decades to come.
These multinational companies have permission drilling at 9 kilometers from the coast of Fuerteventura and Lanzarote. Right now, we are about at 9 kilometers from Lanzarote, and we can just see almost cars driving. So I think this is really too close to the coast. If something happens at that distance, the beaches will be just black.
Well, we've had an exchange with the Spanish authorities, and Spain has promised us that they will carry out a full environmental impact assessment before they authorize any tests or any drilling. We have received hundreds of complaints from NGOs and from citizens about this, and when we get the report from the Spanish authorities. We will also look and see and compare that with third-party scientific evidence, or we will look for a reaction, for example, from the NGOs at that point as well.
Power is nothing like the diamond, petrol, money. It's nothing to do with that. The real power is inside us. If we get together, we can change things. Of course we can change. We have what we want to. Now we are having this because we think that we want this. But do we really want this? Or we want something better, more simple, more peaceful, more healthy for everybody?
Almost everything that happens on the Earth happens as a result of energy that we receive from the sun in the form of solar energy. And this causes, of course, changes in the Earth. There's differences between the equator and the poles. And these differences cause water to move, and it causes winds to take place. And of course, the solar energy is directly available. If you want particularly good sources for development of things like wind and wave energy, you want a lot of open ocean around that, which makes the Canary Islands a very ideal location to look at the possible harvesting of these things.
El Hierro es la única isla en el mundo que se sostiene solamente con energía renovable.
Nosotros tenemos el poder.
It seems like everybody just works into a way that technology advances and advances, which is great, but you should also see the things that are there and use our head, use our creativity to develop and try to work more with the sources that we've got on the planet, with the wind, with the sun, with all the energies that we've got. So I definitely think El Hierro is a really good example for this, and we should follow it.
En Canarias, globalmente, queremos que el modelo del hierro se traslade a toda Canarias. Y queremos que Canarias sea, para Europa y para el mundo, la misma experiencia que es el hierro dentro de Canarias. Es decir, un archipiélago que en el año 2025, un territorio no contaminado, donde la apuesta cada día sea mayor por la sostenibilidad, por la agricultura ecológica, por una pesca controlada, por la introducción de los coches eléctricos.
Canary Island, the sun is really strong most of the year. So I live here. This is a full sustainable house. So all the house is running with solar electricity. There is a cost of the installation, but after 10 years the installation is more or less the same price as if you were using electricity from the town.
The non-renewable sources tend to have been cheaper historically than the renewable sources. One of the main reasons for that is that they have consequences that they do not pay for. We call these things externalities. And if you include those things, the cost goes up enormously. So we have to push ourselves for an accounting system which is comprehensive in scope, which is collective in terms of the way it evaluates consequences.
We have to move to clean energy. Otherwise, we're going to destroy the planet. EU member states have agreed on a roadmap. The first step is 2020, whereby 20% of all the energy sources in the EU has to be from renewables.
El poder lo da la razón y el sentido común, y el sentido común y la razón están con los planteamientos de Canarias de impedir poner en riesgo nuestro futuro.
Most of the people that live here, they are really connected to the nature, and they like to have this nice environment here on the island.
When I heard it the first time that they want to do it next to these stunning beaches, it just almost made me cry, because it's so personal. Like, all these beaches are so beautiful, and I just can't believe that, I mean, I know that money spoils so many people, but I can't believe they want to spoil these beautiful beaches that we've got here.
We are destroying everything, and that is not the energy for. And that's why I think the power are we. We can change things.
We have the power. Firma la petición. Ya. Vamos. Vamos.